ITV News Central, good evening. A coroner has criticised the manufacturer of an ejector seat for failing to warn the RAF of defects which led to the death of Red Arrow's pilot Shaun Cunningham from Coventry. He was killed after he was ejected from his aircraft while it was on the ground at RAF Scampton in Lincolnshire in 2011. Matt Price reports.
Through weeks of harrowing evidence, but today the parents of Flight Lieutenant Shaun Cunningham came to Lincoln to get some final answers. The experienced Red Arrow's pilot was killed after being ejected from his Hawk aircraft moments before takeoff. His parachute failed to correctly deploy. The inquest heard how there were a number of failures which caused or contributed to the death of Shaun Cunningham. The unsafe position of the aircraft's seat firing handle was among the problems highlighted, and there were missed opportunities to put this right. The fault went unnoticed despite 19 cockpit checks by several RAF personnel.
We still find it difficult to accept that so many people could have missed between Shaun's last sortie on Friday and the following Tuesday what should have been obvious to those having a duty to ensure the safety of the seat, and we remain unconvinced as to the aspect of the coroner's findings.
Shaun Cunningham was thrown over 200 feet into the air. He hit the ground and died almost instantly. The coroner said his family can take some comfort knowing he appeared not to have suffered. At the inquest here in Lincoln, questions were asked as to why his parachute failed to work as it should. Seat manufacturer Martin Baker came in for criticism. They were aware issues with over-tightening nuts and bolts in its mechanism could cause a fault to occur. In a statement today, they said, "We'd like to extend our sincere condolences to Flight Lieutenant Cunningham's family and friends. Lessons have been learned, and we've taken steps to alert all of our customers worldwide who still use this type of seat of the risk of over-tightening the shackle." A number of recommendations were put forward by the coroner Stuart Fisher today, among them changes to the positioning of the seat firing handle. A new bolt for inside that seat has already been engineered and will be rolled out at the end of this year. He also praised the collaboration between different organisations to ensure a tragedy like this can never happen again. Matt Price, ITV News in Lincoln.
A woman has denied abandoning her newborn baby girl in a Birmingham park. The baby was found inside a carrier bag by a man walking his dog in Marlborough House Community Park in Stetchford last October. The woman, who can't be named for legal reasons, was granted conditional bail today at Birmingham Magistrates Court. She'll reappear at Birmingham Crown Court in May. At least 10 people have been arrested during a protest at Birmingham University. A demo against privatisation and cuts was held at the Edgbaston campus earlier, with various groups from around the country taking part. Police were called in to help security staff this evening after around 150 people broke into a building. Those arrested are being held on suspicion of assaulting security staff and aggravated trespass and damage. Detectives from Scotland Yard have arrived in Portugal to follow new leads in the ongoing hunt for Leicestershire girl Madeleine McCann, who went missing while on holiday in 2007. The 4 officers are thought to be asking permission to arrest and question 3 suspects in the case. Jane Hesketh has more.
Officers from Britain have travelled to the Algarve numerous times in search of Madeleine, but this time it's believed they're asking for help in tracing 3 suspected burglars who were spotted in Praia de Luz, where Madeleine disappeared 7 years ago. Mobile phone records show the men made numerous calls to each other in the hours after Kate and Jerry McCann discovered their daughter had disappeared. It's understood an international letter of request was sent to the Portuguese authorities requesting permission to arrest and question suspects.
The question has to be asked is, how significant are the police authorities in Portugal in helping the British police? As you know, I asked several times many years ago for Scotland Yard to be involved. I just wonder how much authority, how much support they're actually getting. I really don't know.
Madeleine was taken from her family's holiday apartment in May 2007. Portuguese police shelved their inquiry in 2008, but reopened it last year after television appeals in Europe triggered thousands of calls from the public.
If you recall, months ago we were talking about 59 people of interest. We're now talking about 3 burglars. I have to be, and I'm honest in this, I do question sometimes why the press campaign or the press strategy is the way it is. I simply can't get my head around it.
The McCanns are said to be hopeful of potential developments, but since the Metropolitan Police set up Operation Grange in 2011 to review the case, there have been no arrests. Jane Hesketh, ITV News.
The construction industry in the West Midlands will grow at a slower rate than anywhere else in the UK, according to new figures released today. The sector will grow by just 0.8% over the next 5 years. That's well below the national average of 2.2%. However, it does mark a turnaround of sorts, as the industry has struggled to grow at all since the recession first hit. Football news now, and in the Premier League tonight, Aston Villa beat West Brom 4-3 in a remarkable West Midlands derby. The Baggies had been leading 2-0 after goals from Chris Brunt and an own goal from Fabian Delph. Andreas Weimann and Leandro Bacuna put Villa level before Delph made it 3-2. Yusuf Malumbu scored for the Baggies to make it 3-3, with Christian Benteke scoring a penalty to seal the win for Villa. Meanwhile, it was a disappointing night for Stoke. Stewart Nzonzi was sent off as they lost 1-0 at Sunderland. Right, let's have a look at the weather forecast now. Here's Joe Blythe.
A short break. Whatever the weather. ITV Local Weather, sponsored by Centre Parks.
Hello again. The rest of this week, gradually things becoming less chilly, but in the meantime, tomorrow a cold day to come. A touch of frost here and there tonight, but most places will tend to cloud up over the next few hours or so, so just above freezing. Ice could be a problem though on the region's roads, both tonight and tomorrow morning. So just be aware, if you're out and about tomorrow, icy for a time, a fair amount of cloud around, and out of thicker cloud up on higher ground up towards the Peak District, up towards Cheshire perhaps. There could even be something a little bit wintry in the air with some sleet. For most places during the afternoon, it's dry but cloudy and dull and damp and very chilly, 2 or 3 Celsius at best. Good night.
ITV Local Weather, sponsored by Centre Parks.
That's our news and weather this Wednesday. Have a peaceful night. Good night.